The arrow of time. In 1927, British astronomer Arthur Eddington first devised a one-way direction or asymmetry of time. He said that by studying the organization of matter, it was possible to make a 4D map of the universe. The so-called arrow of time supposedly points to a move spread out and random future, toward which everything is moving. This is also known as entropy, which tends to increase with time. Entropy, a consequence of the second law of thermodynamics, will increase as energy dissipates and matter and energy disperse. This means that entropy will always increase in the universe. Some say this may lead to a heat-death future where everything is spread so thinly that nothing can exist anymore, a scenario famously postulated in Isaac Asimov's short story The Last Question. However, owing to the law of gravity, some think such a future is not a possibility, and Dr. Skow thinks the arrow of time theory itself is not necessarily correct. Is your future already decided? New theory of time suggests that the past, present and future coexist in the universe. A Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor of philosophy has presented a new theory of time. Dr. Bradford Skow says the idea that time flows like a river is not correct. Instead, he claims space-time is a block universe where the past, present and future all exist together. If we were to look down upon the universe, we would see time spread out. But he adds the present is not a spotlight in time, but rather we are in a temporally scattered condition. The old adage that time is like a river, suggesting that we move through it like a ship sailing on water, may be wrong. A new theory claims that time does not move forward, but rather, everything in time is ever present. According to the theory, if we were to look down upon the universe, we would see time spread out in all directions, just as we see space at the moment. The intriguing theory was put forward by Dr. Bradford Skow, an associated professor of philosophy at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. In his new book, Objective Becoming, he examines some of the theories that have been postulated to explain time. When you ask people, tell me about the passage of time, they usually make a metaphor, he said. They say time flows like a river, or we move through time like a ship sailing through the sea. Another theory states that the present is a spotlight that moves from the past to the future, with us being located in the spotlight as it moves forward. Dr. Skow, however, said he wouldn't want to believe in that unless I saw good arguments for it. Rather, he favors a theory known as the block universe, which states that the past, present and future already exist. Dr. Skow said that he does not think events sail past us and vanish forever. Instead, they exist in different parts of space-time. The block universe theory says you're spread out in time, something like the way you're spread out in space. Dr. Skow said, we are not located at a single time. Instead, he says we are in a temporarily scattered condition. He asserts that our passage through space-time is not like a spotlight, and the experiences you had yesterday, last week, or even years ago are all real. But he says time travel between the different times is not possible, as we are now in a different part of space-time. His theory follows another postulated by scientists back in December. They proposed that at the moment of the Big Bang, a mirror universe to our own was created that moves in the opposite direction through time, and intelligent beings in each one would perceive the other to be moving backwards through time. The radical theory was proposed by Dr. Julian Barber of College Farm in the UK, Dr. Tim Kozlowski of the University of New Brunswick in Canada, and Dr. Flavio Mercati of the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics, also in Canada. Their research attempts to answer questions that remain about the arrow of time, which is the concept that time is symmetric and everything moves forwards. They say that at the time of the Big Bang not one but two universes formed, both moving equally in each direction through time, but opposite to each other.
The universe at one time had a very low entropy for its energy content, and since then the entropy has increased. The arrow of time cannot be completely understood until the mystery of the beginnings of the history of the universe are reduced still further from speculation to understanding. So that's our job. We want to know, this is 50 years ago, surely you're thinking we figured it out by now. It's not true that we figured it out by now. In fact, it's more than a 50-year-old problem. Boltzmann understood that this was a problem, and he suggested an answer to it. Before I get to that, I should say that the reason the problem has gotten worse rather than better is because in 1998 we learned something crucial about the universe that we didn't know before. We learned that it's accelerating. The universe is not only expanding. If you look at that galaxy, it's moving away. If you come back a billion years later and look at it again, it will be moving away faster. Individual galaxies are speeding away from us faster and faster, so we say the universe is accelerating.
A mirror universe to our own was created that moves in the opposite direction through time, and intelligent beings in each one would perceive the other to be moving backwards. This universe would not be exactly the same as ours, though. It would have evolved and changed in its own way, completely separate to our own. However, it would be subject to the same laws of physics, so it would likely have planets, stars and galaxies just like in our version of the cosmos. And Dr. Barber told Mail Online the theory could open up a new way to think about the Big Bang. At the moment when people talk about the Big Bang, they more or less throw their hands up in despair and say they can't say what happened, he said. Now our work is beginning to suggest we can actually say more than people thought. Which theory of time proves to be correct, though? Dr. Skow's block universe, the mirror universe or perhaps another, remains to be seen.